Recently in the gaming industry, we started seeing the re-emergence of old genres or something that was fading out after a while. And as much as it is exciting to see the devs make this type of games, I and a lot of gamers are even more excited to see those things that we used to grow up with. We're excited to play these games. They could have made another hero shooter or another survival game or another BR game, but what we see right here is an ARPG with a very promising future. Hello everyone, it's DA here. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you are doing fantastic. Today, in the usual fashion of highlighting new or work in progress titles, I am going to be sharing some information about Bleak Forsaken. This is a game that is being described as a third-person open-world survivor or ARPG. You play as a Forsaken, one of the last defenders of humanity that remains. There will be class-based system, customization, crafting, procedural generation for enemies, I assume. In short words, this is a Breath of the Wild meets Metroidvania concept. There is a story they intend to follow, and for some of you who experienced it in 2019, this might be a little bit similar to what you saw in Remnant from the Ashes approach, but bigger, of course. Instead of the confined tight spaces, there is some room to breathe, and there is bound to be additional exploration, and this is why it is described using Breath of the Wilds. Now, if you combine what you see in terms of atmosphere and the gameplay, I guess you can say Nier Automata is a great comparison. Within the gameplay, the devs promised a variation between settings and enemies that will force players to adjust their own playstyles. The combat is robust compared to some recent Soulsborne inspirations, and you can see the influence of new combat designs like the ones we saw in games like Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. This is where the class-based system plays a role. A player can choose the stealth approach and avoid certain confrontations, or go ahead heads-on in an old-fashioned way that can also be quite rewarding upon breaking and defeating the enemy. There will be a variety of weapons to choose from. You have your staves, your swords, your shields, spears, bows, and some very interesting choice of clothing, which I am really a fan of because, let's be honest, looks can kill, and I've always noticed that I do a lot better in games when I look better. I believe all these weapons will affect the gameplay and the class system tremendously. For example, the bow can be quite useful in a stealth situation, and the shield combination can be beneficial for most aggressive brawler type of enemies or playstyle. Now, this game is in no shape or form finished or close to it based on what I see, but the devs have also improved upon it over time, and they just started a Discord server, which I will also have a link below. So if you want to interact with the community, see what the devs are up to, I think that's going to be one of those easier ways to get in touch with them. Now, I don't want you to just look at this game as another Souls game, which is a great comparison, don't get me wrong. However, from what I've learned so far, this game can be highly compared to Nier Automata, as I said earlier, than the traditional Soulsborne games. Sure, it's dark and grimy, which is quite familiar, but it's also taking advantage of new technology and latest inspirations such as Zelda Breath of the Wild, and in other terms of inspiration, they talked about being inspired by the Berserk series, which is also one of my favorite of all time. Their goal is to release the game in the second quarter of 2020. However, I don't know if that is going to be a full title or an early access release. Either way, I would like to see some more information on that, because even if it's an early access release, that means the community and more people can back and support the developers in making a much better experience. Here's the thing, I like what I'm seeing so far from this small indie team. To be able to get this far with limited resources is an accomplishment in its own. What do I like about this game the most? It's going to be the customization system and the level design, at least what they have proposed so far. This is going to be a top pick for me when it comes to games, clothing, and the world. Combat is also a huge thing. However, when it comes to clothing, world, then I follow up with maybe the story in most situations. It is scheduled for a PC release, but the devs also confirmed that console release is possible in the future, but focus is on PC for now. That way they can iron out the bugs and do more playtesting. Now with that said, that's Bleak Faith Forsaken for you. Let me know your thoughts about this game down below in the comment section. And if you like this video, feel free to leave a thumbs up, share it, and also subscribe for more. As always, it's DS signing out. I'll see you in the next video.